Daniel had always trusted his wife, Emma. They had been married for 10 years and their relationship was built on what he thought was mutual respect, love, and understanding. Lately, though, things felt off. Emma had grown distant. She worked late far more often. Her phone always seemed to be buzzing and she'd taken to hiding it from Daniel's view. It started with small things. A sudden interest in her appearance, buying new clothes, and frequent nights out with work friends. But what pushed Daniel to the edge was her phone, always face down, notifications silenced. His gut told him something wasn't right, but he tried to dismiss it, refusing to believe the worst. One night after Emma had gone out yet again, Daniel couldn't shake his suspicions any longer. His heart raced as he picked up her phone while she was in the shower. She had been acting distant for months, and the not knowing was eating him alive. As he scrolled through her messages, his worst fears were confirmed. There were texts from a man named Jake, explicit messages, full of confessions of love, and worse, plans for future meetups. Daniel felt his heart shatter into pieces. How could she do this? That night, Daniel lay in bed, his mind racing. He couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, couldn't stop replaying the texts he had read. Betrayal gnawed at him, but he knew confronting Emma impulsively wouldn't give him the upper hand. He wanted the truth, but more importantly, he wanted justice. The next morning, he decided to act as though everything was normal. He greeted Emma with a forced smile, kissed her on the cheek as she left for work, and told her he loved her, though the words felt like acid in his throat. The rest of the week, Daniel carefully observed her behavior, gathering as much information as he could. He hired a private investigator who quickly provided damning evidence. There were photos of Emma meeting Jake at a hotel, laughing in his arms, completely oblivious to her husband's looming discovery. Rather than confronting her immediately, Daniel decided to wait. He wanted his revenge to be perfect. Emma's birthday was only a few weeks away, and he saw it as the perfect opportunity for his plan. He spent the next few weeks putting everything in place. He contacted a divorce lawyer, changed all the locks on the house, and set aside some of their shared savings in a private account that Emma wouldn't have access to. All the while, he continued playing the doting husband, keeping his rage carefully hidden behind a mask of calm. Chapter 4. The Big Reveal. The night of Emma's birthday arrived and Daniel had everything prepared. They had planned a small get-together with a few friends at their house, and Emma seemed thrilled. She had no idea what was coming. Daniel welcomed the guests, smiling and pretending as if everything was normal. He waited until everyone was there and the atmosphere was light, with drinks flowing and people laughing. Emma was in her element, smiling and chatting, completely unaware of what was about to happen. As the night drew on, Daniel stood up, tapping his glass to get everyone's attention. "I'd like to make a toast," he began, his voice steady but carrying a hidden edge. Emma beamed, thinking he was about to say something loving in front of their friends. She lifted her glass, ready to clink it with his. "To my beautiful wife, Emma," he said, looking at her with a smile that didn't quite reach his eyes. "For 10 years, I thought we had something real, something built on trust and love." Emma's smile faltered slightly, sensing the shift in his tone. She glanced nervously at their friends, but no one seemed to notice the tension. Daniel continued, "But, over the past few months I learned that sometimes people can surprise you. And sometimes those surprises aren't good ones." His eyes locked onto Emma's. "You see, I found out Emma has been surprising me with a man named Jake." Gasps erupted from the crowd as Emma's face turned pale. Her mouth opened to protest, but Daniel cut her off. "I wasn't going to make a scene," he continued, his voice calm but cold, "but then I thought, why not? Emma loves attention. She might as well get all the attention she can tonight." Emma stood up, her face twisted with panic. "Daniel, stop. Please, we can talk about this later." "Oh, we'll talk," Daniel interrupted, his voice rising. "After this party, you can pack your bags. The locks are already changed and I've filed for divorce." The room fell silent as everyone stared in shock. Emma's eyes filled with tears, but Daniel wasn't finished. "I hope Jake makes you as happy as you made me miserable these last few months," he said, his voice dripping with venom. "But since I know about your little hotel escapades, don't expect much in the settlement. I'll be taking the house, the savings, and my dignity." Chapter 5. Revenge Served Cold. Emma left that night in disgrace, humiliated in front of her friends and with nowhere to go. Daniel watched her leave, his heart heavy but resolute. He had loved her once, but now all he felt was relief. The betrayal had broken him, but it had also given him clarity. Weeks passed, and Daniel focused on rebuilding his life. He found peace in knowing that he had handled the situation on his terms. He hadn't stooped to anger or violence. Instead, he had laid everything bare, letting Emma's lies unravel in front of everyone she cared about. As for Emma, her relationship with Jake didn't last long. Word got out about the affair, and soon, her social circle crumbled. As it turned out, Jake wasn't interested in commitment, especially not with someone who had so easily betrayed their spouse. Daniel, on the other hand, slowly moved on. He found solace in his new freedom and eventually met someone new, someone who valued loyalty and honesty. It wasn't easy, but he had learned an important lesson. The best revenge is living a better life, free from deceit and betrayal.